Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you.
I want to DIY a basket wreath that I can hang on my door for spring, and I want it to look like a little basket. Now, Dollar Tree doesn't normally carry basket wreaths like this, so we're going to DIY one with one of these letter trays from the Dollar Tree. Now, I got this in with like the containers, trash baskets, and stuff like that. They have them in different colors. It doesn't really matter what color you get. You're just going to want something about this shape. You could probably even do it with a one like this that's plastic as well. What I'm doing is just using my wire cutters to cut this. They were all pretty thin, except for the ones on the edges, but to cut it down to size. And you can make your basket wreath however big you want it. I think that looks pretty good. I did, I guess, about 2/3 of it. And then I'm going to fill it up with some floral foam. This is the floral foam from the Dollar Tree. It's just a big chunky block, and I think I'm only going to need one if I attach it semi close to the top here. So I'm just going to do a couple rows of hot glue here, just everywhere where I can kind of get to the wire here to glue that on. It's not super easy to attach for this, but I think that will work. It's not completely flat on the back, and so some of it kind of digs in there, but that's okay because that'll help keep it in a place, right? Now, I probably should have measured this first because it is a little thicker than the basket itself, but that's okay. I'm just going to trim it down. And I'm just using one of those pool noodle cutters from the Dollar Tree to trim down my floral foam where it is now flat on the back where it should be. Now I'm going to actually make the basket. So I'm going to cover mine with some of the burlap roll from Dollar Tree. Now, you don't have to use this. If you have it, it would be great, but in the end, you're really not going to be able to see it. And then for the hanger for the basket wreath, I'm going to go ahead and attach it now, just using some twine and knotting it onto the top row there because I'm going to be covering this with burlap, and then we're going to be covering it with moss to do a spring basket wreath. So I thought this was the easiest time to attach it. I just knot it on there, and then to prevent it from sliding forward, I'm going to secure it with just a dot of hot glue on each side. Now it's time to make the basket. I'm going to simply wrap this entire thing with the burlap roll. And again, you could probably use any ribbon or material you have. This thickness was about perfect though. And I just start here on one side and I just make sure it's hot glued really well there. And this is going to be the back of the top of the basket. I hot glue it to the other side, wrapping it around. I want it straight all the way across the top so it covers everything. All of the wire will be covered. And this is going to provide a great base for us to attach some moss. Now here in the back, I kind of slightly slant it down and then just keep wrapping it up, kind of like a mummy, I guess. Now that covers most of the basket, so I'm going to hot glue it here to the base of the basket there. And I have enough on here that I can actually cover up the bottom too, so one roll was perfect size for this. I just have to figure out how to make this work. I have enough here to cover that bottom section like that. And I'm going to just hot glue it to the wire basket to secure that in place. It is the perfect size. I didn't even have to cut it. And then I'm going to glue this down so it doesn't kind of gap out like that. And then I'm going to kind of wrap it like a present down here. Just kind of push the sides in like you're wrapping the end of a gift. And then I can bring the remaining burlap down. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to be able to see it. We're going to cover the front of it, the bottom, and the sides all with Dollar Tree moss, and then fill it up with some spring flowers. I think that looks pretty good for a DIY basket so far. And it seems pretty sturdy. I'm making this for my front door for spring, so I want it to be able to hold up outside. Now to cover it with moss, I'm going to start with reindeer moss, and that's going to be the majority of it. I love crafting with this reindeer moss from the Dollar Tree. I'm so glad that all my stores have been getting it back in. I just keep stocking up on it and using it in my DIYs. And I'm kind of going for a little bit of a spring forest feel on the front of this. So I'm going to add in another color of moss too, just for a little variety. But if you only have the reindeer moss, it would totally work. And I'm just working one section at a time. I kind of rip the reindeer moss to make sure it's thinner and not just a big clump of it. And I'm trying to go for maximum coverage. So I just started here at the base and I start hot gluing it, working my way up. Gonna flip it around here and finish off the front. Now, this was a little time consuming, so we're going to speed this way up so I can cover this entire thing with moss. But isn't that so pretty? I love it. I go all the way to the edge of the burlap. Burlap is my favorite because you can see through the moss at all. I like the look of the burlap for the basket, and it provides a nice durable material for the back. So same thing here on the bottom. I just start hot gluing it one piece at a time. I try to keep them in clumps. I don't want it all individual pieces because it just makes hot gluing it even longer, but trying not to go for any bald spots there. And then I'm also going to do the sides as well. Basically any part of the basket that's going to be visible, but definitely not doing the back of it. So same thing, I just glue this here, trying to hide my burlap the best that I can with that moss. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of the floral moss as well. It has a darker green color just for variety. And I like mixing my greens with moss. It's totally optional though. You'll have to see if you like that. Now I got this side done as well. And I think this is covered with moss. Just making sure I don't have any bald spots. Everything looks pretty good. If I have any, I can kind of just patch them like that without even adding any more. This is the darker green floral moss that I was talking about. I don't like crafting with it for this kind of thing very much because as you can see, they're like little individual pieces of floral moss, which just makes it more challenging to attach. As you can see, I'm only able to do a little bit at a time. Now I'm using my new hot glue gun. That is the Surebonder cordless hot glue gun that uses my Ryobi batteries that I used to use for my Ryobi hot glue gun. It's a lot cheaper than the Ryobi hot glue gun, and I'm really liking it. It's working pretty well for me. Battery lasts a long time. It keeps enough hot glue ready to go for me. I did add it to my Amazon shop, which is linked in the description of today's video. If you want to check it out, just remember you will need batteries and a charger. I think I have everything linked in there that I use, but I love it. It's my favorite hot glue gun. Now, as you can see, if I come up upon a piece of bark or a little stick in the moss too, I'm adding that to it too, just because of course I wanted that foresty feel for spring. And this is how it turned out. Now, time to add a few more fun items to it. These are some of the little mini mushrooms from the Easter aisle at Dollar Tree. I'm going to go for like a pink, purple, and white theme for the flowers for this. So I thought it would be perfect to use some pink and purple mushrooms. And these are just the right size. They have wires on them, so I can kind of push that down into the floral foam. Or any of the areas where it's below the floral foam, I can just leave it a little bit longer. And they were pretty long though. So even down here, I cut off probably an inch or so and just kind of push them in there and they will stay on. Aren't these so cute? I love these. I use these for spring and Easter crafting, but I also like to use them for like fairy gardens and stuff like that. They're so cute. And it's a lot easier than making these from scratch for sure. So just scattering some pink and purple around. And there it is. We have our little mossy basket wreath. I think it looks so fun. Now it's time for the flowers. But first I want to fill it with a little bit more floral moss. This is kind of some of the brown. They have different colors if you've ever bought this at Dollar Tree. And I thought the variation in color by using some of the brownish green would look good there for the top and cover up the foam. Now that we have the basket wreath complete, now we can add the flowers. I want it to be overflowing with spring flowers, and I'm going to be using different spring flowers from the Dollar Tree. So I'll show you each one I'm going to use. I picked out pinks and purples. This one's called the Pom Pom and Pink. These are some new spring florals that I got at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut them with my wire cutter and kind of add them individually. That way I can have a variety and they're not all together in bunches like this. So I'm going to start by spreading a couple of those, 3. And then we can add a little purple with some of the Dollar Tree lavender. So pretty. And as you can see, I'm not cutting them super tall. You really can't on a lot of these Dollar Tree florals when you cut them down. But since I put the foam so close to the top, they're definitely long enough. Now, I think these are new this year. They're boxwood. They had different colors. You could get them with pink. You could get them with purple. You could get them with just white. I think they're so pretty. And they have little like berries on them. And then I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to do some with like the pink and some with the lavender. And I like the addition of the greenery to it as well. These are some white flowers I also got from the Dollar Tree. I don't know what kind those were, they didn't have a tag on them. And I'm just gonna kind of add those in there as well. I'm trying to alternate the color, but I don't want it to be super symmetrical. I want it to look just like a bunch of wildflowers. These are larkspur from the Dollar Tree. They're tall and pink. They have a cute little effect there at the end of the flower, so that's gonna add a little bit of height. And I just keep adding flowers until I'm happy. Now for a little bit of greenery. This is the Dollar Tree. I say eucalyptus. Kind of looks like the boxwood too, doesn't it? And I'm going to add that all over. I think it just said greenery on there. And then once I got that all in there, I decided just to add a little more where I needed a little bit of pink, where I needed a little bit of greenery and white. I just kind of scatter it around. Again, I want it to look like a basket wreath, so I want it to be overflowing with spring flowers. And I think it turned out so beautiful for spring. I can't wait to hang this on my front door. Well, Valentine's Day is over now, so I guess I can right now. And then it's just a few more flowers. I definitely wanted it full. And maybe a little bit more greenery over here. And I think that this DIY is complete. Isn't this so pretty? I love the mossy details. We have the mushrooms. We have all the beautiful flowers. And I kind of kept a color scheme there with the pinks and the purples for spring. And let me show you how it turned out. It's very vibrant. I love the mossy look of the basket wreath. I think I'll leave it together like this, but I'm thinking, you could do that for other seasons as well, adding the different moss to it. And it was just such a fun way to make a little basket wreath since Dollar Tree doesn't have any baskets or anything quite this shape.